Hi students, Dr. Cohen here. I'm going to go over a few things from the first learning module and then go over what's required for module 2. Always welcome to email me if you have any questions as we go along. So let's see. For your M1 journals, I recorded audio comments for everybody. So please go in and look. I believe you have to go to the Dropbox to find those, but I called them comments from Dr. C. So you should be able to find them, and please do listen to them. One of the things that I wanted to make sure for everybody is make sure you find a supportive person, someone that as difficult emotions come up during the course, someone that you can contact. And I would ask you to go ahead and ask them to be your supportive person now, because if you ask them in advance, it's often easier to actually call them when you need them. So sometime in the next few days, figure out who you would like to use as that supportive person and get in touch with them and let them know that your professor has required that you find somebody who is your supportive person and ask them if they would serve in that capacity. The other thing is for the course, probably the most important thing that I'm hoping you will all learn is to become more aware about your own views of death, dying, and bereavement. That doesn't mean that those things aren't going to change over time. They've certainly changed for me, but that is my hope for the course, because I feel as if we can't really help other people very well if we don't have a good sense of our own views on the topic. The other thing is some of you talked about how do we help other people? What are the right things to say and that kind of stuff. So let me just be clear. The most important thing, if you're going to help someone who is going through a grieving process, is to just be present and let them guide the discussion. There is really nothing that you can say that's going to make their pain go away. And I think often we feel like we need to figure out what those things are, not necessarily to make the other person feel better, but to make us ourselves feel better. It's always good to say, I honestly don't know what to say, but I want you to know I'm here for you. And let the person be the guide. And the last thing I want to say relative to your comments and the journals is that there's no one right way to grieve. People grieve differently. Some people grieve differently. Well, everyone grieves differently depending on the death, right? So who died and what your relationship was like at that person at that time, were the things left unsaid. So trying to figure out how you're supposed to grieve, let me just be clear, there is no right or wrong way to do it. Everybody does it differently. And so to keep that in mind. For discussion 1, please, for module 1 discussion, please keep in mind that your initial posts are due the day before the closing date for the discussion. Several of you lost points because you submitted your initial discussion late. Follow the course schedule and not the closing date for the discussion. The closing date for the discussion is the date that your response post is due. And I set that up so that people have other people to respond to. If everything was due on the same day, then sometimes groups, you have everybody posting late. So then you have to stay up until 10:30 at night waiting for someone to respond to. So that's why I've set it up that way. So follow the course schedule for all due dates and not the closing date for the discussion. Okay, if you didn't get a perfect grade on any of your discussions, please go have a look at the grading rubric. And if I have made any comments, look at the comments and read through those. If you're still not sure why you got the grade that you did, you're welcome to send me an email. Read your response posts prompts carefully. Several of you, it had said in the module 1 discussion, find somebody who had a different answer to yours for some of the questions. And some of you responded to people who had commented on and said things that were similar to yours. I didn't deduct any points for that this time, but to just be aware that in the future, if you don't follow the response post prompt, you will lose points for your response. Okay, so let's move forward and talk a little bit about module 2. There are no more PDF files of the chapters. So I had the first 3 chapters, the textbook chapters were had PDF files on Folio. They're no longer available. So the expectation is that you will have the textbook by now. You're going to need the textbook to complete the quizzes. So please make sure you get a copy of the textbook. I mean, at this point, you might want to just get an electronic copy if you haven't gotten one already, since you're going to need it pretty immediately. Then I wanted to go over Journal 2. So let me go ahead and do a screen share to show you. Okay, so this is the overview of Module 2 assignment. There's a recorded session that you're going to listen to, but you'll need to do some things to prepare before you listen to the recording. There's a document, and I'll show you that on Folio in a minute. That's the worksheet for this assignment. So you're going to need to print that out so you can work with it. You may be able to keep it on your computer, but my recommendation is to print out the pages so that you can fill it out as you go along. So you're going to have that in front of you. You're going to listen to the audio recording. I will tell you, this is going to likely elicit some strong emotions, so don't try and do it at the library unless you find a private room. So do this in a private place when you're listening. You're going to complete the worksheet. There are columns. Well, you'll write lists of things, and then gradually you will cross things off the list. What you're going to submit to me is not the worksheet, but your responses to these prompts. So see here, we have these prompts. What were some of your thoughts and feelings as we went through the exercise? What kinds of things did you hold on to longest and why? How did you feel when I took away items away without your permission? And in what ways was this exercise different from a real dying experience? That's what you're going to submit. So when I say provide at least 500 words, that's what you're going to provide 500 words on. So let me just stop the sharing and show you the worksheet. So this is the worksheet that you're going to download and work with. And there are 3 columns. You're going to put the names of 8 loved ones, 8 possessions, and then 8 things that you want to accomplish before you die. So that's what you're going to write on there, and you'll do that, and then the prompts are there at the bottom. So this is the worksheet. Again, you don't submit the worksheet, you submit your responses in a separate Word document for the questions. I also don't want the letter that you write to a loved one. Really don't want those. Those are things that you should write and then decide whether or not you want to send them to a loved one. Let me just show you. Okay. This is, just want to show you module 2. So you see here are the instructions for the journal. Here is the listening exercise worksheet that you'll download and print out. And then here is journal, the M2 journal listening exercise recording. So you will listen to that and I speak to you in that recording, and you'll follow along with the exercise as you go. And then of course there's where you submit it. Okay, so there's that. And let's see, go back to my list. For the M2 assignment, you're going to work on the 5 wishes document. This is a document where you make decisions about what you would like for your end of life decisions. For this assignment, you're going to take the 5 wishes document. You can either print it out or use it electronically, and you're going to meet with members of your family to go over this and talk about it. So when you have the meeting, the most important thing to remember is take a picture. So if you meet, I'm fine with people meeting over Zoom, take a screenshot. You can do FaceTime, take a screenshot if you're meeting face to face, and show me the 5 wishes document and the fact that you're working on it. Let me go over that worksheet just a little bit. Screenshot that. Okay, so the first thing is you're going to look over the 5 wishes document, which is in folio. Then you're going to select a few loved ones to participate. You know, can be your parents, your partner, whoever it is that you choose to do this with. And then you're going to meet with them either face-to-face, over the phone, or through a video call. And you're going to fill out the 5 wishes document for yourself, but also you can work with them and talk with them about, you know, what they might want as well. So you could send them a copy of the document, for instance, and then they could fill it out as they went along. The idea is that you fill it out, but besides just having it as a stagnant document, it allows you to have a conversation with your loved ones about what you would want. And then you're going to write a reflective piece on the experience. So as with the journal, I don't want your 5 wishes document. I want your reflections on these prompt questions. So here, the questions I ask are, who did you choose to meet with and why? And then for each of the wishes, I have a prompt. And then how did the other people react to the experience? How did you feel about the experience? And then what surprised you most? And that set of 9 questions is what you're going to provide for me for the assignment. And do not forget the screenshot or the picture of you all meeting, holding up the 5 wishes document. So that's what you're going to need for the assignment. Let's see what else I wrote down here. And I guess the last thing is to go over the discussion. So for the discussion for module 2, here your initial post is a reflection on the process of doing the 5 wishes document. You're going to put into the discussion your initial post, what you learned, what you found most challenging, and what you found most valuable from the 5 wishes document. Then you're going to look for at least one student where you had some similarities between what you posted and what he or she posted, and you're going to reflect on that. So here, unlike the first one where I asked you to, first discussion where I asked you to look for differences between you and the other person, here I'm asking you to look for similarities among all the people that that posted, and then comment on those similarities. So that is it. At this point, we are going to be flying through module 2. There are 5 modules. Please do remember that I am happy to meet with people at any point. You can email me with some options. We can talk by phone. I can invite you to my Zoom room, whatever's going to work for you. And I am flexible. So people have been emailing me if they have concerns, and I am happy to meet with you any time throughout the course. Thank you, and I hope module 2 goes well for everyone. Bye now.